Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. Today we head to High Point Solution Stadium in Piscataway as Rutgers University honors Eric LeGrand during a special halftime ceremony. Then Mayor David Stahl brings us a new segment of Business Spotlight with Lisa Sachs. Photographer Andy Farmer has his work on display at the East Brunswick Public Library, and he spoke with EBTV about his exhibit running throughout the month of September. And Barbara Reese sits down in studio to talk about an upcoming domestic violence conference sponsored by Rutgers University. All this and more, so stay with us. Rutgers University hosted Eastern Michigan University last weekend at High Point Solution Stadium in Piscataway. It was an emotional day, highlighted by former player Eric LeGrand's jersey retirement at halftime. LeGrand was paralyzed below the shoulders, making a tackle on special teams while playing versus Army at MetLife Stadium in 2010. Since his injury, he has been an advocate for spinal cord research.
In our football program here at Rutgers, we talk about family. Families stick together, families stay together. There has been no more inspirational person in our program's history than Eric LeGrand. He is the greatest symbol we have of perseverance. And without a doubt, it is only fitting that he be the first football player in the history of our program, 144 years, to have his number retired. Now, I promised Eric a few surprises. On behalf of our program and behalf of our university, I'd like to present Eric with this sword. Something a true Scarlet Knight should have. The first and only of its kind. It has his number and the word believe right on the blade. And for those that are behind me, you'll be able to see it clearly. For those that are in front of me, you may have to turn around. But the biggest of all surprises we have is right up there in the film box. If we could drop that sheet. Number 52 will be displayed in our stadium, as it should be.
I want to thank everybody for coming today. You know, this really means the world to me. You know, all my years I got to play football. From the time I was 5 until I was 20. I put my blood, my sweat, my tears, my enthusiasm, everything that I had, I sacrificed for this game. And to know now that 52 is hanging in the stadium for me, my family, my friends, everybody, Rutgers, we're all here today. This is all for you guys too. Each and every day, I wake up, I read my Twitter, my Facebook, and all the nice things you guys say to me, motivating me to do what I do every day. You know, I could easily just sit in my bed and rock, but no, I make that the decision every day to get back on my feet, and go to therapy and do the things that I can do. And without you guys, it is truly in me to say I would not be able to do it. And I hope you guys continue to support me. Thank you all, my fans, my family, my friends, my therapist, everyone that's here today. Thank you all. And like I said, please join Team LeGrand and help me get back on my feet and walk again And always remember, each and every day, believe, because it's in me, and it's in you guys too. Let's do this. Thank you again.
Now back to the game. The Scarlet Knights jumped out to a quick 14-0 lead in the first quarter, even after starting quarterback Gary Nova was knocked out after concussion-like symptoms. Special teams played a huge role as senior Karan Pratt returned his first college kickoff 99 yards for the touchdown. Backup quarterback Chris Dodd looked a little rusty under center, going 4 for 9 for just 45 yards and being sacked 3 times. But running back Paul James picked up the offense when they needed him, rushing for a career-high 192 yards, including a 55-yard and a 52-yard touchdown, en route to his third straight 100-yard game. James has now amassed 493 yards and 6 touchdowns in the first 3 games of the season to lead the country in rushing. The Rutgers defense bent but never broke, giving up just 10 points and securing the 28-10 victory for the Scarlet Knights as they improved to 2-1 on the season.
Hi, it's Mayor Stahl with another edition of Business Spotlight. We're with Lisa Sachs of Lisa Sachs Designs to talk about interior and exterior designing. The holidays are coming up, and it's a great time for you to look at your homes and see what Lisa can do for you. Lisa, it's great to be with you. We're sitting here in one of your clients' homes. It's been beautifully redecorated. Why don't you explain a little bit about what you did to this particular home?
Sure. This is one of my showcase homes in East Brunswick. We started with the living room, dining room, a complete remodel, except for the dining room table and chairs. We reupholstered the chairs. Our inspiration was this beautiful rug that really determined the color scheme, and we purchased all new furniture. Some furniture, one piece, a curio, was purchased on Craigslist. Everything else was brand new. We did wall coverings and custom window treatments, refinished the floors, and accessorized the whole room, and it meets the function and the needs of my client. They're very satisfied in using the room often.
It is gorgeous, and obviously you mentioned so many different details. Obviously, it takes a lot of talent. Where did you come across all that wonderful talent?
Well, I attribute my talent to my dad, who unfortunately I lost about 9 years ago, but he was an artist, he was an art collector, he was a painter, and I grew up in a home with avant-garde furnishings, Persian rugs, fine art. He was a collector. He bought and sold art through Sotheby's. So this has been around me all of my life, and it has inspired me greatly. Like I said, since I was a child, I have lived and dreamed about interior design, and I was given an opportunity in 1998 to enter the design field just in decorative accessories, and I did that for a while. I then moved into soft furnishings, which is window treatments and bedding. As you can see from this master bedroom, this was the first project that I did in this client's home. We did all custom bedding, custom window treatments, and pulled the whole room together with new carpeting and wallpaper and accessories. So this bathroom was a main bathroom in this ranch-style home. It's the bathroom that guests will use. So the client wanted a beautiful, elegant powder room, but with a bathtub. So as you can see, we did all travertine marble in this bathroom. It's very elegant, yet comfortable and natural, and they're very pleased with the results.
What services does your company perform for clients? Because every client has different wishes.
Well, I do interior and exterior design. I do residential and commercial, and I do everything involved in all of the projects in interior design, from custom furnishings, window treatments, flooring, wall coverings, and doing the final touches, the finishing touches, the accessories.
Well, when you say exterior design, what exactly does that entail?
The exterior of a home is the first impression, and curb appeal is extremely important. So we did paint colors. We changed the lighting out. The lighting was actually very small and inappropriate for this size home, so we put new lighting in. We changed the mailbox. We coordinated the color of the shutters to match the existing brick. We did landscaping work, and as you can see, the home looks beautiful and has very nice curb appeal. In the backyard, we also did some landscaping. We did this beautiful pond waterfall area, which the client has been enjoying from the inside, from their sunroom. We also did an outdoor living room. We used furnishings as well as an outdoor rug to ground the area. We used accessories and plant material to pull it all together.
With the exterior, do you work with like particular landscapers, or you work with the client's landscapers? How does that usually work?
I have a particular landscaper that I prefer to work with. However, I will consult on design projects with my clients' landscapers as well.
And we all know that people have many different tastes. Some may want traditional, some might want modern. How do you work with the particular clients on that?
I actually like to foster the client's own unique style. So I use these labels, traditional, modern, contemporary, mid-century modern, as a framework for my client's style. However, I allow them to develop their own style and foster that so that they are comfortable within their own surroundings.
How has the internet, you mentioned before that you found something on Craigslist, has the internet expanded your ability to get like those unique items?
Absolutely. We do a lot of shopping on the internet. I wouldn't recommend purchasing seating objects of furniture over the internet, because it's very important to be able to sit in what you're purchasing. However, almost everything else, the resolution of the photos on the internet are very good, and the resources are limitless.
And as I mentioned in my early statement, we're rapidly approaching, the holidays. It's a great time to redecorate your house because we always have friends and family over. How does someone get in touch with you to utilize your services?
They can call me at 732-266-6558. They can also reach me via email at lasachs@aol.com. We'll set up an initial consultation where I'll discuss their objectives and their budget. Budget's very important to discuss at the forefront. I will also show my portfolio, discuss my terms and conditions, and get to know each other, which is very important. The relationship in a design project is extremely important.
I'd imagine, because again, it's not just like you walk in and say, I want that and that. It's an ongoing relationship as the work develops, I would imagine.
It's an ongoing relationship, and projects always evolve. I do everything from paint consultation, which could be a 1-hour service to determine a color for one particular room, to paint color for the entire house, because each room has to flow into the other. I do remodels, I do new construction. Whatever the project is, we discuss it, and it becomes its own unique project.
In closing, is there any tip that you want to share with our viewers?
Yeah, actually, the most important thing that clients can do in a design project is to actually look through magazines, look through online applications. There's a particular app called House where you can look at rooms or projects or furnishings and bookmark those things to determine what you like and what you don't like, which is equally as important to what you like. That will help develop your own unique style, and the process will evolve from there.
Well, Lisa, I appreciate you spending a few moments with myself and all the viewers. The house is absolutely gorgeous, both inside and outside. And I would encourage everyone at home who has the decorating skills that I have, which is zero, to contact someone like Lisa Sachs, who can work with you both on the exterior and interior design of your home. As we like to say in East Brunswick, we shop East Brunswick, and in this case, let's design with East Brunswick. Give Lisa a call. Thanks for watching.
Photographer and East Brunswick resident Andy Farmer currently is displaying an exhibit at the East Brunswick Public Library. The exhibit will be on display throughout the month of September, and EBTV was able to speak with Andy about his work.
I've been taking pictures and interested in photography since I was a young kid. And I think my first camera, I was probably about 6 years old. And I used to borrow my father's cameras when I got to be a little bit older. And it's been a lifelong passion. Nature has always been something I've been very interested in. I grew up in Michigan, and there were a lot of great parks and natural areas to go out and take pictures. And it was always an easy area for me to do that. And so you'll see, if you look at these pictures, that there is a preponderance probably of nature photos. But I love to walk around the city and take pictures there. I wouldn't necessarily consider myself a street photographer. I'm perhaps a little shy taking pictures of people on the street, but I've got a few of those as well. I started out shooting film. Obviously, there weren't any digital cameras way back when. And I had my own darkroom. And so that gave me a lot of control over the images. And when I got older and moved away from home and didn't have that darkroom anymore, I felt like I didn't have the same level of control. Because you're relying on the printing that somebody else is going to do for you. And you can get the things printed the way you want, but you really had to pay extra for that. And I didn't have those resources back then. So when digital came along, I was very excited. But the first digital cameras, certainly the ones that I could afford, they didn't really have great capabilities. But now I mostly work in digital. I still have, old film cameras, and I get out a roll of film every now and then just for the fun of it. A couple of these pictures here are shot on film cameras and scanned in. So when I started out, I was shooting in black and white and developing that in my own darkroom. When I moved into digital, at first I didn't have it really figured out as to how to convert the color images that came out of the camera into a good black and white image. They were sort of flat and uninteresting. And it's sort of been recently that I've gotten the hang of that and have been able to produce images that are the equivalent of what I could have done when I had a darkroom. Anywhere I go, I'm always looking at things and trying to say, well, that would make a good picture, that wouldn't. I don't always have a camera with me, but I may be taking a little mental picture in my mind, when I'm driving in the car, coming home. And sometimes I'll come back and take those shots, but I'm usually looking for something interesting about the way the light falls on it, an interesting graphic component to the image, or maybe there's an interesting story going on with the people that are around.
So you're an East Brunswick resident. Tell me about some of the photos that are on the walls here that are right here in town.
Well, there's a number of them. There's a park bench that I took over here at the Gene Walling Center one foggy night. I was just driving home and I had the camera in the car, and I said, it's really foggy and dark out, and I wonder what it looks like over there. And I started wandering around, and I got a few really good shots that night. There's a farm scene over here, right over my shoulder, that has some hay bales that, I was driving by there one day, and I noticed that the guy was baling the hay, and the next morning I went out with my camera and I wanted to get it while it was fresh.
A lot of people watching like to take a lot of pictures. What can you tell them? What kind of tips would you give them to take a good picture?
Take more pictures. Take a lot of pictures. I take a lot and throw away a lot. I'm always looking for a good image, and one of the things I think that really has been helpful is trying to find good lighting. So I like to get up early in the morning and go out and get the morning's first light, or late in the day. As we were talking about actually before the interview, when I go away on vacation, I like to get up, at the crack of dawn, walk out of the hotel room with my camera and wander around wherever we are and take pictures. And, I'll put in a few miles before I come back and get breakfast.
This is Barbara Reese reporting for This Week in East Brunswick. We're very fortunate to be here today with two very knowledgeable guests. First, we have with us Ken Dolan Del Vecchio, a Vice President of Health and Wellness at Prudential. And we have Dr. Judy Postmus, who's the Associate Professor and Director of the Center on Violence Against Women and Children. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, we have an exciting topic here today, an opportunity for professionals in our area to learn more about how they can help deal with the issue of domestic violence. First of all, tell us a little bit about the name of this conference, what's it about, the general feel for what people can expect.
The name of the conference is Domestic Violence, How Workplaces Get Hurt and How They Can Help. And it is all about how the workplace is a place where if there's awareness being built there, and if there are the right kinds of policies and the right kinds of readiness, people who are struggling with this tragedy of domestic violence can get the help that can save their lives. And it is a conference that is inspired by one that I had the privilege of attending and speaking at last year in Atlanta. And while there's a lot of communicating that goes on about domestic violence, this conference was for human resources professionals, management professionals, and other leaders in workplaces. And that's rare. So that's something I thought we can get together with our partners at Rutgers and with some of our corporate partners and recreate that experience here and that opportunity for learning.
And Doctor, you tell us a little bit about, the Institute is involved, the Center on Violence Against Women and Children is involved in this particular venture. Tell us about the partnership that's occurring here.
So there are a number of sponsors of this wonderful conference, this day-long conference. The Center on Violence Against Women and Children, our center is an academic center where we are striving to eliminate all forms of violence against women and children, everything from physical to sexual to economic to psychological, as well as address the power imbalances that permit them. And part of our role as an academic center is to work with community organizations and community groups, be they nonprofit, government, or corporate entities, to work together on addressing this issue. And so this was a wonderful opportunity to match up with Prudential as well as our center. And we have other sponsors, including the Institute for Families, which is also part of the School of Social Work at Rutgers, of which our center is part of. We have a number of other corporate sponsors, including Verizon,
Allstate. We have Johnson & Johnson. We have FEI Behavioral Health, which is an EAP firm. We have Life Care, which delivers work-life resource and referral services. And there are others as well. We have the Employee Assistance Professionals Association of New Jersey.
So this gives us an opportunity as a center, again, to partner with these corporate entities and help them address the issue of domestic violence in their own workplace, because we know it affects millions of workers and employees and ultimately affects the bottom line of many of these corporations.
So it's a unique partnership of both the corporate and the academic world to handle a large problem.
Yeah, and we are looking for representatives from large corporations, from smaller businesses, from hospitals, from educational institutions, because everywhere people work, this problem exists.
Absolutely.
And it touches, as Judy said, at least 4 million women every year in this country. About 31% of women will be physically or sexually attacked at least once in their lives. And so both the survivors and the perpetrators are at work with us. They are in every workplace. They are our colleagues. They're our supervisors. And we owe it to the community to make sure that there's awareness that's being built and there's the right kinds of help for the people who are embroiled in this.
We all understand that domestic violence has been an issue up front for a long time, but it is kind of a new nuance that we're talking about it at work. Could you tell us more about that?
Sure. I mean, as you mentioned, we've been talking about it in this country for a number of years. I think what the difference is we always associate domestic violence as happening just in the homes and in our communities, and we don't think that the victims and the perpetrators are actually our employees working in our corporations and our businesses, to the point that businesses annually will lose between $4 and $5 billion a year for costs that are associated to domestic violence.
And people have this myth that it's a private matter. It's not a private matter. If these acts were done in public, they would be felonies. If you punch somebody, that would be a felony offense. If you drag somebody across the floor by their hair. So it's not a private matter, it's a serious crime. And it's also the starting point. Intimate partner violence is a starting point for at least a third of workplace violence incidents. And in New Jersey, there's a brand new legislation. Do you want to mention that?
Sure, it's called the SAFE Act. It was just passed this week, in which employers are responsible for providing time off for victims who seek services or help or court decisions or attending court and so forth. So this is brand new, just came out this week, and so we're really excited that New Jersey is even addressing it, and so our employers need to be aware of this as well.
So can tell us a little bit about what are some specific skills that the people who attend this conference will walk away with?
Well, people who come, and we're expecting that the people who come will have a leadership role in their workplace. There'll be a human resources professional or manager, maybe an EAP professional, and they're going to learn a lot more about the dynamics of intimate partner violence and the way it shows up at work, and the constructive ways that they can approach the situation. They're going to learn about the fundamentals of policy, and they're going to learn about how important it is to have readiness in terms of people who have some knowledge about the issue. They come from different disciplines, so maybe if you have a security organization, the security folks and the human resources folks and the behavioral health folks are connected to one another and ready. And then after the conference, there's going to be a host of resources that are available for consultation. So it's a time to learn, but it's also the beginning of consultation that can help the practitioner in their workplace to develop over the next several months.
So the resources available to follow up with what you've learned.
Consultative information, and Judy's group and the New Jersey Coalition for Battered Women are going to get together and be available.
And we'll have plenty of resources for the people who attend on understanding domestic violence and where to get help.
We could talk about it for some time, but I do want to give folks the opportunity to know the time, the date, and the particulars about this conference that's coming up. It's October the 18th.
October the 18th.
Full-day conference.
Starts at 8:45 in the morning.
At
and runs all
Rutgers.
day at Rutgers at the Bush campus in the campus center there.
And I understand it's free.
It's free. People who attend will get breakfast and lunch. It's Friday. Why not come for the breakfast and lunch? And if that isn't something, then also there are a range of credits, professional credits, that are available. So if you have any of the human resources credentials, so if you are a professional in human resources or a senior professional in human resources or a global professional in human resources, 5 credit hours. And there's also credits for social work.
6.5 credits for any social worker who needs to have the continuing education unit.
Well, we thank you both for being here, for Prudential, for Rutgers, and I know there are many sponsors that have been part of this important work, and we thank them as well. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Preserve your memories. On Saturday, September 28th, gather all your memories, important papers, family movies, slides, and photos, and bring them to the library. Digital Memory Media is partnering with the East Brunswick Public Library Foundation to preserve your memories. DMM is a leader in the preservation of historical collections with experienced technicians and the latest digital conversion equipment to provide quality digital output from VHS cassettes, 16 and 18 millimeter film, slides, photos, and paper files. 20% of all sales will benefit the Library Foundation. So start gathering all your memories and bring them to the library on Saturday, September 28th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.